Good afternoon and welcome to Unlocking the Secrets to Exceptional HVAC Clients Experience. This is a new webinar from HREI and Thrive, starring Morgan Hines and Mary Bryson, who are going to be joining us in just a second. We got a lot of really interesting information and strategies for enhancing your direct-to-client experiences. But first, I want to do some housekeeping. My name is Matthew Bradford, host of the HREI webinars, and I am happy to put a webinar on for you as well. You can contact me, mbradford@hrei.ca, or reach me through the HREI website as well. If you got any questions for this presentation, we're going to be taking them throughout the show, so please put them in your Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, or you can reach us in chat as well. Otherwise, this will be up on HREI's YouTube page after the fact if you want to share it with folks who couldn't attend. And at this point, I do want to bring Mary and Morgan on to say hello. There they are. Bright,
Hi,
shiny
everyone.
faces.
How's it going?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. This is an interesting topic. We typically do technical topics for HREI webinars, but this is a business building, marketing, customer facing one. I think it's going to be really valuable for people. So thanks so much.
Awesome. Well, it's so great to meet you all. My name is Mary and I work for Thrive. I'm actually based in downtown Toronto, and I'm super excited to dive deeper into some effective and creative ways that we can create an exceptional client experience. Joining me is Morgan Hines, and I'll kick it over to her to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Morgan. Like Mary mentioned, I am based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's not so sunny today, if it makes you guys feel any better up in Canada, and I'm excited to chat with everyone.
Awesome. So before we dive in, I do want to share that during this webinar, we'll be sharing some polls, asking some questions in the live chat. So whoever has the most engagement might be getting a gift card, so listen up. All right, so let's set the stage for today's webinar with one key idea. Sure, those eye-catching ads that promise the lowest prices guaranteed or the best product on the market can grab the attention and might even get customers to make a purchase. But here's the big question. Is that really what's going to keep customers coming back? In today's competitive world, just offering a good price or high quality product isn't enough anymore. We're now in what's called the experience economy, which means people value their overall experiences with your brand just as much, if not more, as the product itself. They're looking for more than just a one-time transaction. They want to feel valued and they want to feel appreciated. So let's dive into how we can create an exceptional experience and turn a one-time customer into a loyal fan. So just by typing into the chat, I want to kick things off with a little icebreaker. I want to ask everybody, what is one thing that your favorite company does in their client experience to make you feel valued? Is it how fast they respond to your questions when you reach out? Is it that they remember things like your preferences or personal events going on in your life? Or is it that they provide you with more than just one payment option? For me, I really like when people remember things about me and ask me follow-up questions from things I said last time. So I'd love to see in the chat just what you feel is what makes your client experience really good.
And just to make sure, we already got Tom responding, but just to make sure, if you want to participate in the chat, it's at the bottom of your screen. Just click that and enter what you'd like to say.
Awesome. So yeah, how well they predict what will happen next. I love that. Great payment options, prompt response times. I agree with all of those.
Likewise. We've all gotten so picky now, right? Like, I think it's funny that these are almost like expected across the board, but everyone's kind of got their favorite and like really what matters to them as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So with those sorts of responses, first of all, thank you so much for sharing, but I'm sure you're also not shocked to see that we found that 86% of customers are willing to pay more for that great customer experience. So when we talk about that great customer experience, we're looking at every touch point in that client journey. So how you're responding to inquiries, how quickly you solve problems, and then how friendly and professional your team is throughout that entire process. And it's really about making that customer feel value and making their interactions. If your HVAC business offers exceptional customer service, customers might choose to stick with you, even if your rates are a bit higher or you're able to continue to raise rates, because they're really investing in that positive experience that stands out. So it just shows how crucial it is to focus on delivering that top-notch customer experience. Because it's not just about being nice, right? Like we all want to be nice and make sure we're taking care of our clients, but at the end of the day, it's also a really smart business move that can lead to those loyal customers and justify that premium pricing, like Mary said, turning them into those loyal fans. So from your perspective, I'd love to hear your favorite thing that the company does that makes you maybe feel a little bit less valued or undervalued as a client. So we just talked about some of our favorite things here. Is there anything that's really a big sticking point for you as a client? So is it when they take too long to respond to your messages, they never remember your name, even though you're doing business with them, maybe paying them too much money? I've never done that to a service-based business before. Never spent too much shopping or going to the nail salon or those sorts of things. Or even if they just never check in to ask for those reviews. Tom, disjointed communication absolutely kills me. Nothing is worse to me than when I explain my problem or whatever's going on to the first person, and then that second person starts all over again with the same question. I'm done. Like I'd rather just go somewhere else. Over it.
Yeah. Jeff said having to repeat yourself all the time. I feel you, Jeff. Such a not taking accountability when things go wrong. So true. Things happen. I think it's just how you handle them that really, can make things all right in the end.
Absolutely. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your responses. So needless to say, customers today have very high expectations for personalized services and quick resolutions. If your business doesn't meet those needs, unfortunately, they might seek out competitors who will. So today, we're going to go over 6 very simple, easy to implement ways that you can improve your overall customer experience. And we're going to focus on the ones listed on the screen. So a strong online presence, how to stay organized because organization is key, how to make payments easy for your clients. Then we're going to talk about communication because none of this would exist without good communication. We're going to talk about automation so that you don't need to worry about doing everything manually. And last but not least, we're going to talk about how to earn customer reviews. So over to Morgan to talk about the first one, which is online presence. Oh, sorry, quick poll. Matt, if you can launch this poll, because this actually will go through the 6 that were on the screen here. Of these 6, which do you find the most important? Sorry, which do you find the most challenging?
There we go.
That poll has been launched. You can participate on your screen.
I need my coffee.
Out of a glass jar. That's interesting.
I always think it's interesting too, like we have such high expectations as consumers, but sometimes when we're implementing those same things for end clients, there's a little bit of a disconnect. So I always think it's fun to think about throughout this process, what you would expect as a client versus what you're actually providing to your end clients and see if there's any disconnects there. And then we will share the deck after the fact. There was a couple of questions on that. So if you have any questions or need some additional information, we're obviously here to help.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Morgan, but my biggest pain point is automating those appointment reminders. I feel like I used to spend so much time picking up the phone and saying, hey, we're supposed to meet in a few minutes, or sending them an email before. So finding a way to automate that so the system does it for you has drastically decreased the amount of no-shows or late show-ups.
I love that. I'm in a 2-story house. I'm even bad. Somebody came over my house. I had made an appointment and they didn't send me a text or an email reminder. I was literally upstairs and just didn't hear them knock on the door. So can make such a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Matt, did everyone answer the poll? Are we good to move on?
I think we got most of them. Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. Great.
All right. So kind of first and foremost, so it looks like a lot of people were talking about reaching more clients. So making sure you're really top of mind. And honestly, couldn't have teed us up better. The first piece of that is obviously online presence and building up those, reaching out to more customers. So we find that most people think that in order to reach more customers, you have to spend a ton of money on paid media ads, but that's not always the case. So yes, it'll, increase your views and engagement and click-through rates and things like that with people that you might not have reached otherwise. But once they find you, are they actually going to stick around So if you think about those advertising dollars and what you're going to lead to, so before you start spending a ton of money on, pay-per-click or pay-per-whatever style media, I really feel strongly about focusing on building a strong overall online presence. So think about building a really solid foundation to your house before you're putting the bells and whistles on your kitchen. So this includes having a professionally made website, being active on social media. I know that can take up a ton of time. And then also having positive reviews online. So we find that 91% of people actually check those online reviews before making that purchase decision. So how are people first becoming aware of your business? So we chatted about that website. So that's generally the first place that people are kind of validating that you're a real business, right? So it's the first place that you're generally pushing people to if you are running any kind of paid media, but it's also that umbrella. Everything's tied back into it. So that social, the listings, and the reviews are generally housed on your website. So think of that as home base, really making sure that it provides value, but also has other resources, things like FAQs, blog posts, maintenance tips, so that you can really become that trusted advisor to your local community. And then a great way to engage with that local community on an ongoing basis is through social. I'm sure we can all say that we probably spend a little bit too much time on social media. And so really just meeting your customers where they already are. So we find that where clients can interact with brands, share experience, and look for recommendations. So when you're posting when you're posting relatively often, we find that you're just more top of mind for those clients. But it also improves your organic search engine optimization. People pay buckets and buckets of money for great SEO, but being sure that you're consistent and in front of your customers can be worth its weight in gold. And then all of this, again, building that really solid foundation. There's like 100 different places that you can be listed online. Having to manually keep up with all those things can be really overwhelming. But if you're doing it on your own, making sure that some of those really popular sites are constantly updated and correct. So think Google, Yelp, Bing, are always correct. And then even better if you can use an agency or a software that can blast you out to all of these different places to ensure that your information is correct, consistent, and up to date, because nothing's more frustrating than when someone's looking to do business with you and maybe your hours are out of date or there's a holiday coming up. And then last, but definitely not least, are reviews. Reviews are so important. We call them kind of the new word of mouth or digitizing the word of mouth. So when clients see that others had positive experiences, they're more likely to do business with you. But it also, again, that organic SEO helps you raise your organic listing. So on Google, on social media, and boost that website. So it's really that all-encompassing approach. So again, not shocking, but we find that more than half of customers won't trust your business if it doesn't have an online presence. So that means 1 in every 2 potential clients are walking away if you don't have one of these things. I know a lot of home services really rely on word of mouth referrals, but I know that I also want to take a look to see what other people are saying. Like I was talking to my uncle the other day, I needed to have my car work done. And he was like, oh, I have a guy for you. Don't worry, I'll send you a number. I looked him up online and the reviews weren't very good. Their website looks a little suspicious. I ended up asking another friend for a referral because I didn't trust them based on their online presence. So really making sure that you're covered from all angles is so important.
Totally. And I think too, in the HVAC profession and a lot of home service professions, when you're entering someone's home, they're definitely going to do some vetting beforehand to make sure, are you a legit business, and make sure that they're comfortable. So especially in this industry, it's very important.
Absolutely.
So just by answering in the chat, just to get the engagement going, we'd love to know, when you're seeking out a new business, whether that's a bookkeeper or a new landscaper, someone to come paint your house, what is the first thing that you do before deciding whether you're going to do business with them? Are you doing a Google creep? Are you, checking out their reviews? Are you going to see if they're on social media? What are those tips, or what are those things that you're doing before you decide, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger and do business with them? Search Google, check reviews. Yep. Visit their website, judge it by spelling and grammatical errors. I do the exact same thing. Looking them up online. Yeah, absolutely. So So you all know that's just how important it is. Reviews are everything, and they're really easy to get. I think it can seem intimidating to ask, but once you do it and you start to see the reviews come in, you'll be a lot more inclined.
Yeah, absolutely. Basic online search, websites, all great ways to make sure that, you know, they have everything together. I know that some people don't necessarily get into business to become social media / marketing gurus, but this is the world that we're living in. We have to make sure that we're meeting our customers where they are.
Totally. All right. So the second one we're going to talk about is organization. And organization is super important. And honestly, it's not just great for the back end process to making sure that you and your team feel comfortable. Organization really provides your clients with a seamless experience, makes you seem a little bit more professional and reliable. So it is definitely something that's a very important factor in creating a good, positive client experience. So how do you keep up with your client information? Well, one of the first things I like to focus on is client history. So having one place, whether it's an Excel sheet, a Google Drive, even a CRM, where everyone who needs to have access to that client history has access to it. That way you're able to go in and see what service they got done last with you. We're able to actually see what materials you used, what heater did you use, what air conditioner unit did you use, so that you're able to go back and actually be more efficient on that job. Another really important way to be organized is through payments. So how easy are you to pay? Do you only provide clients with one payment option? Back to that whole landscaper or that bookkeeper, you know, or even when you're going out for dinner, you want to be able to pay for things in multiple different ways. But more importantly, you want to be able to pay for things in the way that's convenient to you. So allowing some type of online payment or accepting more than just check is really going to make it easier for clients to pay you easily, quickly, and securely. Hopefully that will also mean less chasing clients down to get money from them. And the last one I'm going to talk about is online appointments. So I don't know about you, but I have spent so much time working with clients, trying to find what dates available in their calendar, what dates available in my calendar. And then, you know, you get double booked because you forgot you had a dentist appointment, and it's a lot. So having an online scheduling tool that's cloud-based and that actually syncs up with your personal calendar, your employee's calendar, and being able to provide your clients with a link to just book in is going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to reduce the risk of getting double booked. And then with something like an online appointment tool, you're able to actually automate those reminders and also reduce the risk of no-shows. So just another fact for everybody. Did you know that 50% of teams improve their productivity by using a mobile CRM? This makes total sense. When you think of a CRM, which is a client relationship management tool, it's basically a way for you to put all of your clients' information in there. It's like a cloud-based filing cabinet. So you can put their address, you can put, you know, where they are in the funnel, you can put their payment information. And then when you and your techs or your employees need to go out and do a job, you just pull them up and you can find out everything you need to know. So it avoids that whole calling them, confirming their address or confirming their gate code. Having it in a CRM is going to make it really easy to manage. So Matt, we're going to launch the second poll, which is basically trying to figure out how you keep track of your client information. So are you using some type of software like a QuickBooks, Salesforce, maybe even a Thrive? Are you putting them into spreadsheets? Are you using a paper record like a notebook? Are they being stored in your phone? Or are you just keeping them in your head, which I really hope you're not, but if you are, that's okay. We can help you.
Yeah. No shame in the game. I think we've all been there. I think we all started there, right?
Totally. I used to think I could do that until I realized I really couldn't. Like, it's amazing. You say, oh, I'll remember to call this person back, or I'll remember to send this all. And a week later, you're like, oh, shoot, I didn't send them that.
I always find myself going back to spreadsheets as much as like we have so many great automation tools. It's just like my comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Originally went to school for finance. I think they were like beat into me or something. I don't know. Me in Excel spreadsheets are bonded at the hip.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we can probably move on to the third way we're going to help with client experience.
Perfect.
Over to you, Morgan.
All right. So obviously we're doing a great job. We want to get paid, right? So making it really easy for your clients to pay you. I know we talked a little bit about how important that convenient payment is as part of your overall organization, but honestly, it deserves its own section. So we found that 61% of people are actually more likely to make a purchase if the process is easy. Again, we're talking about how I probably spend too much time shopping, right? If you can autofill my credit card information, or if I can click on a link, you're going to get paid within seconds. If I need to go figure out a way to go drive to you or go pay in person, or honestly, even go walk across the room to go pick up my credit card, it's going to take significantly longer. I'm not proud of it, but it's true. So you've already done the great work. Let's make sure that you're not spending so much time and energy to follow up on those payments and continue that really great client experience. So as you build that momentum, it's really simple and easy to pay. So how do your customers pay you? So contactless payments obviously really caught fire during COVID, but it's a great way to allow those clients to work with you without having to physically touch a terminal or handing over their credit card, especially, sometimes technicians are, getting down and dirty in the field and it's not the best client experience. So having those mobile wallets, most people don't carry around cash or checkbooks or those sorts of things. So just making it really simple and easy. And then again, giving them the option of in-person or online. So there's still a ton of people who would love to shake your hand and give you cash and those sorts of things, or even a check. And so having those in-person those in-person payment options are really important. But again, on the online side, so just really being flexible with whatever they're the most comfortable with. And then this third bucket is really where I think we can make some of the biggest differences. So you're meeting with a client, you're doing all the work on the front end to make sure that you're getting found and you have a good client experience and they trust you enough to maybe do business with you. They ask for you to come out and do a quote or an estimate for them. Now what? Is it easy to turn that into an invoice and say, yes, I'm ready to pay you? Can I simply click on a button and say, let's get this booked and go for it? Or do I have to wait for you to call me back? Is it, a 3-sheet paper with the pink, and yellow that you're ripping off in the field? And hopefully one of your techs adds it back into, a bucket for someone in the office to manage later. Keeping it really simple and easy to do business with you is so important. So important that we found that more than a quarter of small business have already seen an increase in that contactless payment since the pandemic began. So again, that was really the push that we needed to get there. But now that we're here, we're not, going back, right? We've already gone to contactless payments. We all are, Apple heavy or, or my Apple Wallet, or if you're on Android, whatever, Play Wallet, Mary, maybe. So making sure that you're able to keep up with those because it's expected. So just really jumping in on that client experience all the way through that payment. And then Mary is going to take us through communication.
So I hope everybody's feeling good so far. Now we're going to talk about the fourth and arguably the most important aspect of client experience, which is to be a good communicator and to communicate with customers how they want to be communicated with. So effective communication not only involves being clear and responsive, but it also involves being adaptive to your customers' preferences. Do they want to receive text? Do they like phone calls? You have to find that out and work with them on that. So positive communications can do a few things. It can build a personal connection. It can build trust and rapport. It can reduce the misunderstandings and manage expectations effectively. It can also resolve problems faster. If you're able to really, nip it in the bud and communicate quickly and more efficiently, you're bound to have less problems. And overall, it's really just the backbone of a positive client experience. So just by answering in the chat, I'm curious to know, what is your favorite way to communicate with other businesses? So when you think about, that bookkeeper, for example, or your hairdresser or barber, how do you like to communicate with them? Do you want them to call you and say, hey, your appointment's tomorrow? Would you rather a quick email or a text? Do you want to get a reminder on social media? Maybe you're big on Facebook Messenger. I'd love to know how you like to communicate with businesses.
I'm a text or email gal myself. If I can multitask and answer you like in the middle of a meeting or something,
yep,
you've got my money.
Yep. Jeff says text. Tom says web chat with a human. I love that. Maybe mine is pure later.
Yeah. Ritesh likes a call. I like that. That's not for me. I want to build a multitask, all the things, maybe call you after I'm deciding I'm probably going to do business with you, but it just shows that everyone's a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think it also depends on who you're doing business with. I think for those larger ticket items, like when you're doing, something in the HVAC space, a little bit more of a personal phone call could make you feel a little bit more at ease about spending the amount of money you're spending. And then maybe when it's a shipping notification, I'm good to just have that come in as a text.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some of the most widely accepted communication methods that you can use in this day and age. Client portals. I'm not sure if many of you have used a client portal before, but I absolutely love the idea of a client portal. Basically, it's a way to set up this, password protected space, whether it's on your website, it can be accessed through social media. You can also just send your clients a link to a portal directly. And this is a one-stop shop where they can see everything from estimates and invoices. They can book appointments with you, make payments, review documents, kind of anything they need in one spot. And what this is going to do is, one, reduce the amount of times they call you and say, hey, how much do I owe you? Or, hey, when's our appointment again? Because they can actually just go into their portal and see everything. So that way, no matter how they like to communicate with you, they at least have that portal that is always live for them to see, all of those different things that they're interested in. Another really popular way, as I'm sure you know, is email correspondence. Some people don't like to be tied to their phone. They don't want to always be texting back and forth. So an email where it's saved in their email and they can always go and access it is a really great way to send important information. People also like to organize their inboxes. So some people might like email as their preferred method of communication. The third way is social media messaging. So I know there are a lot of industries where leads can come in through Facebook Messenger. If you're one of those businesses that posts a lot on Instagram, you can actually get new leads coming in and corresponding with you over social media. I do that sometimes with my hairdresser. We make appointments back and forth on Instagram Messenger, and it works perfectly for us. The other way is website live chats. Yes, they can be either human powered or AI powered. Both are great. And sometimes it's a kind of a combo of both. So having that AI tool to go in and answer those easy to, answer questions, great way. And then if they need additional help, you can put them forward to a human. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. And then the last method of communication is text messaging. So I think there's some crazy stat, actually, it's on the next slide, like 98% of people are going to check their text within 2 minutes. So if you need to get a message across to someone quickly, like, hey, we're on the way, or hey, I had to cancel because I'm sick, texting is obviously going to be a really great way to get them really quick. So that's when I suggest using text. So yeah, did you know that 90% of adults like receiving emails from companies they do business with? And 98% of text messages have an open rate of 98% within 2 minutes of receipt. So that's pretty crazy. I think depending on who you're working with, texting can be a great way to kind of promote those flash sales as well, or anything that has a time crunch to it could be a good idea to test out texting. Okay, now it's over to Morgan to talk about the fifth way that we're going to improve client experience.
Honestly, this is my favorite. So this is why I'm talking about it. So we're not just going to give you a laundry list of things to do and say like, okay, guys, let's be perfect tomorrow and let's fix all of these things. And here's your list of things to do. It's wild. You need 19 full-time jobs to get it all done, right? So really making sure that we're using automation to our advantage. So really automating those reminders, follow-ups, thank you, some of these messages that we were just chatting about. So we find a lot of times business owners aren't taking advantage of these sorts of things because they think it's going to be too time consuming or too hard, but we really find that's not the case. So being able to utilize automation might seem a bit complex, but it's really not. It's setting yourself up for that future success. So it's using technology to help with those repetitive tasks like appointments, payment reminders, post-service follow-ups. And then once you set up these things you'd like to automate, you'll notice that you'll be able to save so much time each week on manual labor, and then you'll actually have more time to do what you do best. So let's chat through some of these things that we can automate and what that might look like. So first and foremost, reminders. it's hard to stay timely, right? Like maybe you're with another client up until the last minute or those sorts of things. So appointments, estimates, payments, or even the, hey, I'm on my way, to keep clients in the loop and help avoid missed payments or late payments. I'm sorry, missed appointments or late payments. And we do find that having those automated reminders can cut no-shows by about 30%, which I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, that is such a huge cost savings and really making sure you're taking care of your crews. Of course, saying thank you. So sending out those automated thank yous after a job is done or an invoice is paid. And then again, asking for that review or referral, because it shouldn't just be on the client to go in and, remember to do so. And we do find that about 70% of people will actually send you those reviews or leave those reviews if you ask. That number dwindles to basically 1% if they're left to do it on their own. So really making a point to ask. And then receipts. So really simple to set up. Most payment providers, it's literally just a click of a button. So getting an instant digital receipt right after that payment, making it really easy for clients to store and access their records online, cutting down on paper for both sides. And then we do find that almost 90% of people, 86% to be specific, prefer those digital receipts. And then, of course, follow-ups. So things like maintenance reminders, news about new services, really keep those clients engaged, informed, again, positioning yourself as that expert and resource for the community. And we do find that it can boost client engagement by about 20%. And last but not least, those haven't heard from you. So sending out automated emails with special offers after some time with no contact can really help bring back those past clients and boost bookings. So we find that about half of clients are more likely to return with a personalized discount of some kind. And we do know that it's 9 times cheaper to keep an existing client than it is to have to go out into the market and find a brand new one. So I'll end off with just kind of a quick stat that I find really hits home. So 75% of consumers are more likely to work with a business that, 1, recognizes them by name, 2, recommends options based on their past services, and then 3, that knows their service history. I know that if I'm calling someone out to do some repair work on my house and they're asking me when the last time something was changed or fixed, I have no idea. You did it last time. Like, you don't know when. I don't know what I did last week. But if we're able to really find a way to automate these sorts of reminders and tasks and have everything in a CRM or even an Excel spreadsheet or something along those lines, puts both the client and your tech in a better spot for that better client experience as well. And then now that we gave them that great client experience, Mary, what are we going to do?
We're going to end it off with getting those reviews, which we've kind of talked about at a few different points. But I wanted to end on one thing that you mentioned in the last slide, Morgan, was sometimes in this day and age, when there's so many different people offering the same service, it's really just about standing out from the crowd. As much as we'd like to think, oh, they're choosing you because they have this personal relationship with you, sometimes it's just who popped up in their inbox last. So I always like to say, for those services that aren't as like weekly or frequent, and more of like, maybe it's twice a year you go in and do their air conditioner and then their heater, it's staying top of mind in those 6 months in between, whether that's sending a newsletter and giving them tips on how to save on their energy bill, or, how to prevent cold air from coming into the house, whatever it might be. That's going to be what keeps them remembering you and hopefully using your service again when their time comes up. So now we're almost done. I'm going to end it off with earning more reviews, which we have talked about at a few different points, but I really do just want to drive this one home. So I know it is a little bit awkward and it might seem uncomfortable to ask somebody for a review, which I get it, but there are ways to just have it go out automatically. There's systems out there that once that invoice is paid or that receipt is received, it can go out saying, hey, Morgan, thanks so much for your business. We'd love if you'd spend a second giving us a review on our Google, and maybe even incentivize them by giving them 10% off their next service or something like that. Really doesn't matter how you get those reviews. It's just very important that you do. And as you can see, 90% of consumers read online reviews before making buying decisions, which is a very big number. And so why are reviews so important? Well, simply put, it improves customer service and encourages repeat business. Positive reviews highlight what you're doing right and helps you understand areas for improvement. This feedback loop allows you to enhance your service and build stronger relationships with customers, which leads to repeat business. It also gives consumers confidence in choosing your business. When reviews kind of act as that version of social proof, and they see that people, in their neighborhood or in their city are using your services and liking that the service that they're getting, they're definitely going to be more inclined to choose you over your competition. And the third reason why reviews are important is because it helps boost visibility. So believe it or not, a higher number of positive reviews can actually improve your ranking on search engines and social media platforms. So it's not a coincidence. Sometimes when you're searching for a local restaurant, the ones with, 1,000 reviews are the ones that pop up first. It's the same thing for HVAC providers. So trying to get reviews consistently is very important. And once you've received that review, it's also just as important to respond. Responding to reviews, it does take a little bit of time. And I think people are also a little bit worried about what happens when you get a bad review. And honestly, you could be the best of the best. There's always going to be that one bad apple that leaves a bad review. That's just in their DNA. So responding to reviews, whether they're good or bad, just saying thank you if they're good, can't wait to do business with you again. But then also if they're negative, thanking them for their feedback or requesting that you take it offline could just show that you care. And though you can't actually delete that review on your Google or your Yelp, the client is able to. And sometimes just picking up the phone and saying, hey, sorry, how can I make this better? That's really all they need to just take down the review. So I always encourage you. So we're at almost the 50-minute mark, and Morgan and I just wanted to kind of open up the floor. We're going to ask one final question so that we can all talk about what we've learned today. And just in the chat, talk about some ways that we're going to apply these learnings. And you can just put them in the chat. You can also ask any questions. You can just say things that have worked for you in the past that you want to share with the group. We're really just opening up the floor to everybody. And also thank you again for spending this time with us.
There was a quick question about legitimate versus artificial bot reviews. So there are a lot of companies that offer to take down bad reviews or put up reviews for you. Google does find those relatively quickly, and you'll find that your rankings really start to decrease. You'll also see you might have round numbers just to make it easy, but if you have 1,000 reviews and 700 of them are fake 5 stars and most of the true reviews are 3 stars or 2 stars, let's say, you'll notice that the ones that are actually popping up that Google is showing to people are those legitimate 2 and 3 star. They are scanning for that on the back end. So any company that's going to come in and fill up your reviews with AI generated bots or anything around those lines, I would definitely be very weary of. And then I totally agree. Tom had also talked about making sure that you just follow up with a call. A lot of people are willing to have a conversation with you if you show that you care. So saying, hey, Joe, I saw that you didn't have the best experience, would love to chat about it. And you'll find a lot of times they'll actually go in on their own and edit those reviews, which is huge. And then I could not agree more. If you can reply to online reviews in less than 24 hours, it makes the biggest difference for your rankings, because Google sees that you're an engaged business, you're working with clients, you're open, you're, interacting. And so that can be really helpful. And then Mary, Dylan loved your idea of a mobile CRM. I know if I can't do it from my phone or my tablet, game over, unfortunately, right? We're
100%.
all tied to work all the time. And when it's on your phone, it's just so much more likely to stay up to date. And speaking of phones, Mary, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so obviously communication was at the core of today's webinar. And, if anybody's interested in learning more about what we spoke about, I'd love to set up a chat. We can have a virtual coffee and just kind of brainstorm what solutions or what things you can implement quickly that are going to make your business shine. But before we leave, we did want to offer everybody a gift, which is our free command center. And so if you scan this code here, you're actually going to get access to our free command center. With this code, you're going to get a 4th free channel and a $50 credit towards your Thrive if you do decide to get Thrive one day. But what it's going to do is it's going to provide you with a centralized inbox. So you can put your Facebook, your email, Instagram, your
other email.
Your other email, yes, all into one place and manage it there. So you don't need to bop around to the 5 or 6 different channels you have. It's also going to give you a team chat, which is awesome. You can go back and forth with your colleagues. You don't have to have everyone's phone number in a live chat or an iMessage or a Samsung message chat. It's also going to give you a free phone number, business phone number, and a free web chat, which web chats can be quite expensive. So we are happy to provide you with one that you can just put that coding onto your website. And yeah, so scan this code. It's a great tool. And I'd love if you take down my email or phone number, and we can definitely stay in touch.
You heard Mary, you heard Morgan, a lot of great insights. And that is actually a really neat giveaway as well, the hub, especially the web chat and the opening up those channels of communication, right? So
absolutely. Yep.
All about keeping it simple.
Excellent. We will send this deck out to folks as well. I think there was a prize mentioned in the beginning, or
yes.
Yeah.
So you know what Morgan and I need to do, because we'll have hopefully we'll have everyone's email addresses. We'll look through this chat and we'll see who engaged the most, because I can't tell off the top of my head unless anyone else can.
We had a lot of great engagement. So it's hard to pick a winner, but we will discuss offline and you guys can follow up.
Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll just email you a gift card and you can use it however you wish. So expect that one of you lucky winners by the end of the day.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you guys, obviously, and to the attendees as well. I know it's a busy season, but I think you gained a lot by being here today. Or if you're watching this, you can also scan that barcode and gain as well. I hope to see you guys back maybe in the fall. We'll revisit some of these subjects, maybe zone in on a few of them for sure.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Great to see everyone.
Great to see. And we will send this, like I think I mentioned, we'll send this deck out after as well to everyone who attended and everyone who registered as well.
Awesome.
Thanks,
bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.